Don Lemon is a pretend journalist and a host on CNN who has no ratings. And the president's right. I'm a little disappointed he stole my line, but that's okay. He's very low IQ, just like Jeffrey Toobin, just like Brian Stelter, just like the whole crowd there. In the aggregate, they're low IQ. And we know Antifa is a violent Marxist organization. It is a violent Marxist organization. There have been some undercover video that shows them training. They are a sort of a Marxist militia. And they've hurt a lot of people. They hurt a Bernie Sanders guy the other day. They've hurt Trump supporters. They've hurt police officers. A violent, nasty organization. But not the Don Lemon. Don Lemon thinks they're pretty cool. Oh, sure, they've got their issues, but they're not too bad. Hat tip, real clear politics. Cut 8, go.
It says it right in the name, Antifa, anti-fascism, which is what they were there fighting. Listen, there's, no organization is perfect. There was some violence. No one condones the violence, but there were different reasons for Antifa and for these neo-Nazis to be there. One, racist fascists. The other group fighting racist fascists. There's a distinction there. Thank you both.
You are such an idiot. Why do you have to pick one or the other? Why can't we condemn neo-Nazis and the Marxists? That is what exactly Antifa is. This is a fool, this Don Lemon, an absolute fool. But he fits perfectly within the group of hosts over there during our golden age of journalism at CNN. There's some violence. Does it sound like he's worried about their violence? Play it again. Watch how he, it's a throwaway line. Go ahead.
It says it right in the name, Antifa, anti-fascism, which is what they were there fighting. Listen, there's,
hey, dummy, and you are a dummy. Maoists claim to be anti-fascist. And Mao killed 50 million of his own people. Castro claims to be anti-fascist, or the remaining one. And they killed tens of thousands of people. You don't even understand this. You're such an idiot. Go ahead.
Violence. No one condones the violence, but there were different reasons.
Now, what did he say that in half a nanosecond there? Nobody condones the violence, but. No. Let's talk about the violence. We ought to be talking about that. Not nobody condones the violence, but. Different reasons for Antifa and these neo-Nazis to be there. Who cares? They're violent, radical, extremist organizations. All of them. Both of them. Go ahead.
Antifa and for these neo-Nazis to be there. One.
Shut up, you idiot. No wonder you're on CNN. Nobody watches you. If I don't play your audio, nobody even knows what the hell you're saying. Now, speaking of idiots, and just to be even-handed when it comes to race, of course, Jeffrey Toobin on CNN. This guy's a slime bucket. He truly is. Now listen to how he talks about Antifa. Go ahead.
Let's be clear also about what's going on here. The theme here is, I'm Donald Trump and I'll protect you from the scary black people. Antifa is widely perceived as an African-American organization.
Now stop. How is Antifa widely perceived? You see, he's the racist, Toobin. Mr. Producer, have you ever perceived Antifa as being widely perceived as a black organization? No. No, it's widely perceived and known that most of these are spoiled, rotten punks. Most of them white. Most of them who go to college, and they're professors. That's what most of them are. And yet Jeffrey Toobin projects that it's widely perceived as populated by blacks. Not by me, not by most people, I don't think, because it's not true. But Jeffrey Toobin can say this, you see, because now he feels better. You see, he's not a racist. He's not a bigot. He can just call everybody else a racist and a bigot. Go ahead.
Just part of the same story of LeBron James and Don Lemon and Maxine Waters and the NFL players and the UCLA basketball players.
Oh, but he never calls out white people, does he, dummy? He even calls people like you out. Calls your whole network out, filled with white people. Now, we all know this. When the president takes on his opponents who attack him, he doesn't say, oh, I'm only taking on that guy because of their race. Last time I checked, in the Republican primary when Donald Trump was running for the nomination, I believe the vast majority of the candidates were not black. The vast majority were not brown. The vast majority were not red. The vast majority were white. Rosie O'Donnell, I don't believe she's black. We can go right down the list, can't we? So to listen to this Jeffrey Toobin, and by the way, later on you have the idiot Wolf Blitzer kind of stoking this, stirring the pot. This is why people cannot stand CNN or MSNBC. This is why, Jake Tapper, it's the golden age of yellow journalism. You're a bunch of clowns. You're a bunch of fools. You're not sorting out fact from fiction. You're not holding people to account. You're ideological hacks. Go ahead.
About black versus white. This is about Donald Trump's appeal to racism, and it just happens.
There we go again. All of you. You're appealed to Donald Trump because he appeals to you because he's a racist and you're a racist. So says this white, this puke, this left-wing. So says he. So says he. We're constantly being lectured, mostly by white people, about racism. And most of them live in New York or live in Washington, D.C. or live in L.A., lecturing everybody else. I told you about that cab drive. It was actually an Uber drive in Chicago about a month ago. Went to a beautiful wedding. The gentleman was 68 years old. He told me he's a retired factory worker. He worked on the assembly line where they make ball bearings outside of Chicago. He was a fairly religious man, very nice man. And he made the point. But for the media and but for these politicians, he said, I have people in this Uber. I'm retired. I don't need this job. I make a little extra money, but I enjoy meeting people. He said, I meet people, all walks of life, all races, all political viewpoints. And he said the overwhelming majority of them are nice people. And they get along, and we all get along. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Toobin cannot stand it. Don Lemon cannot stand it. So Antifa's okay. They may be a little violent now and then. They're imperfect. Big deal. Jeffrey Toobin. Trump condemning Antifa. We know why he's condemning Antifa, because we white people, we're scared of black people. And Antifa is widely viewed as being black. No, it's not. Who are the racists here? It is they. Them. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.